Welcome to Turmeric and Tequila with your host, Kristen Olson. Questioning a better way, one gracefully disruptive conversation at a time.
Welcome to Turmeric and Tequila. I'm so excited to be here today. It's been a minute, but we have the Ashley Simone Knight in the house for our year in review, a year in preview. I think this is the 5th or 6th year we've done this.
I know, I can't even count at this point.
It's crazy how fast the time has gone. Ashley is an entrepreneur. She's a corporate leader extraordinaire. You know her, you've heard about her. Ashley, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you, as usual, for having me. Greetings and salutations, everybody. It's been too long.
This year, I don't know what, it flew by. That's why I texted you and I was like, holy shit, we haven't done our year in preview. And I was like, what are you doing tomorrow?
Yeah, I was like, yep, sign me up.
True story, it's fucking New Year's Eve right now. So we just made the deadline, but guess what? We're
just made it. Hours.
And is universe knew to put us together. However, it needed to be because we are like yin and yang, but not really. Like somehow our lives were different ages, different races, went to school on different coasts, but not high school the same. Like just different, but also so similar. Like literally our life patterns somehow
parallel. Yeah, we kind of ride parallel. It's very fascinating.
It's crazy.
But thank God, because it's not just my thing. Is at least there's somebody going through similar things as me, so I don't feel like it's just happening to me. Oh no.
Yeah. Well, and like we talked about, Mercury's in retrograde, so there's a whole farm of us out there somewhere.
Yeah. Y'all stay safe out there. It's rough right now.
We're mixing up a little bit this year because I listened to ours last year, which is so fascinating to see how much we've changed and also how much we haven't changed, which is cool. But we talked a lot about like the year in review with like events. We'll brush through some today, but I really want to focus on us because those are my favorite parts of the conversation, and clearly I'm biased because I love us. And I have had this whole, reclaiming of turmeric and tequila and explaining it. And a big portion of it is about personal work, responsibility, positive change. And I really believe that world peace starts through inner peace. So we're going to focus on us and what our goals are, and just mainly to highlight personal responsibility. So we'll talk about the worldly stuff, but really I want it to be about us. So I really want to encourage people to download the sheet, take some time, find a buddy, and get your own goals and intentions set for the year.
Love that. Ready
or not? And Ashley and I both have had kind of like, it's been a crazy December and like into the year, like it's been, and when I was listening to last year's podcast, we're talking about, well, you talked about peace and I talked a lot about clarity. And it's like, I feel like a lot of that didn't happen. I'll let you expand on this when we get into it, but until like October, November, December for me, like everything I was working toward, I think happened towards it, and it's still kind of happening. It's not like it ends at midnight and starts the next day, but
right. But long story short, it wasn't January.
Right. So if you're wondering when it's going to happen, it might be happening right now, or it's coming.
Exactly. You never know.
All right. Let's. Do you have any opening words you want to like preface this conversation?
Oh God. No. let's see how things go. I'm gonna take a piece out of last year's. Remember, I was like, it was the year of flow for me, so I was like, I didn't do my homework, guys. We're just gonna rapid fire and figure it out.
Dude, I love it so much.
I did my homework this time. I did.
That's what's funny is like we are listening to it. I was like, God, we're different, and I hadn't even caught up with you yet for this, but like I know it feels like it was like 5 minutes ago, but like I could hear the difference in my voice than how I am right now.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Yeah.
All right, so for the I just did top 10 events that came down. This is called the top 10s, TENS, and it's a list, I guess, where you can contribute what were like the top things of the year. And this is hilarious. So it's not like NBC or some quote unquote credible news source. This is just what people think, and that's why I chose it.
Oh, this is going to be interesting then.
Dude, it's hilarious. I'm just going to start from one, even though it's unfunny or unfun to build up. But the number one event people voted for that was like, it says, this is the biggest and most important things to happen in 2023. Feel free to contribute. There will be much more to add as the year progresses. So I think people list stuff, and this was like the top voted things. Number one, the Super Mario Brothers movies gets released.
You're joking.
Dude, I had to think back that
Over Barbie and Oppenheimer? Over Barbenheimer.
Well, wait. Number 2 was Twitter changes to X. And then
That
number
was
3.
on my list. You know how I feel about Twitter. I don't care about Instagram. Like, my friends have to be like, I sent you something. Oh, okay, cool. You didn't look at my story. I'm sorry. I don't look at it. I don't care about Facebook unless if it's like, you know, a family member trying to get in touch with me. But Twitter? Why would Elon touch my Twitter? It's so disrespectful.
X. Do you like it better now?
No. I will say largely things have not changed. But I will say, like, the racism skyrocketed, very uncomfortable. What else? And, you know, like, they're allowing more, like, hateful human beings to have counts. So that's very interesting. And also, I'm not calling it X. I'm not doing that.
Weird.
It's very weird.
And every time the email comes out, it says X and it says formerly Twitter. Like, they're still having to explain it. So you just, like...
Oh, yeah, because me and other, like, users that I know, we full-blown refuse to call it X.
It's weird.
Yeah.
There's brand equity in it. I don't get it. Well, so number 3 was Barbenheimer, the phenomenon.
So I didn't see Oppenheimer, but, you know, we saw Barbie, and it's so good. Same. So good. Like, I didn't know what to expect, to be honest. I actually didn't want to see it. But then when I learned about the plot and, like, it actually discusses, like, very serious you know, like, topics in, like, a very, like, good way, like the way that they weave it in, I was like, you know what? I'll give it a try. And I was, like, cackling out loud. Like, usually I'm at the movies like, oh, okay, that was cute. No, I was laughing. It was a good movie.
They're like cognitive dissonance. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, were you gonna have one drink or two, whatever? I had one drink and I'm like, I'm not even gonna get another drink because they're going in. Like, I'm really gonna pay attention now. They're dropping heavy right now. Heavy.
Like, they did a good job of, like, being superficial and deep at the very same time. And I love stuff like that. Like, I love watching heist movies. I love watching, like, how they do it, you know, like, things that make you think, not just like straight, you know, like, oh, okay, like, I get the plot now. Cool.
Dude, and $1 billion, first female director to make $1 billion. Like, yowzers. Yeah.
Happy for that lady. She stuck her foot in that movie. I mean, I'll buy it, and I don't buy things. Just so
it could sit there. I don't even think I have a DVD player, or maybe I do actually. I don't know, but yeah, we can download, buy it, or whatever.
We're not getting enough DVD, and I mean that's rich coming from me because I have a VCR and a DVD player. But we're not doing that. We'll stream it.
I'm going to get you one just so you can set it on the mantle.
I will accept it. I'll accept whatever you give me.
I got you. This is number 4. Let it be known after those movies is the Ukraine war drags on. And it says, and here's some of the comments. It's been going on for 2 years now. Good news is it looks like Ukraine is winning, but very slowly. Where this war of aggression by Russia ends is anyone's guess. Ukraine is still in crisis due to Russia. These are dark times. So these are just comments. I don't believe it at that.
Once his face has to die. I did hear that he's not doing well, though. But that could be really old information. Like, health-wise. The Russian president guy, I don't think he's doing well. Also, a lot of people don't know that Ukraine is kind of like the breadbasket of the world. Like, we need them economically. So that is literally why we are involved. And just so people know, when they say we're giving millions upon millions of hundreds of millions of dollars to Ukraine, it's like 3 to 5% of the entire budget. Just putting some facts out there.
It's definitely a business conversation, and the whole thing with, like, even Hunter Biden. It's always a business conversation.
Exactly. That's the only reason why we're involved. Literally, we don't, like, when they're like, oh my God, the people, they do not care about the people. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah.
I care about the people. I feel bad.
We care about the people. The people who are in office, debatable.
Oh, for sure. No, they're there to make money. There's awful stuff going on everywhere, but it's so businessy. But yeah, the humans that are innocent. I mean, Palestine is all that's going on everywhere. It's a brutal year.
Yep.
Number 5 hard shift was the Titan submersible incident where the submarine.
Oh. I'm sorry, I forgot that was this year.
I know this year was like quick and yet so long. I was looking at some of the stuff. A huge tragedy.
That, like they were using a joystick to direct themselves down. It's kind of crazy.
there was 19 people on board. They're confirmed dead after it exploded. Rest in peace to them. Yeah, I don't.
Rest in peace.
They told people said not. They were advised by like legit consultants not to go, and they did.
They did, and the consultants were being fired. So like the metal or whatever, the carbon fiber, whatever materials they were using to build it, they were advised multiple times that it would not be sufficient to how deep they were going, and yet they kept going.
Oh, dude, and it was like over $1 million, I think, to go. Like
$250,000 a person.
Oh, okay.
I feel terrible for that young man who passed away because he did not want to go. His dad made him go. R.I.P. to everybody. But I felt sad for him because I think he was like 9 or something like that. He was very young.
Yeah. Ugh, that's heavy.
Yeah.
Number 6, Turkey, Syria earthquake. This is an absolute devastating wake-up call for Turkey and Syria. Countless lives were lost in the magnitude 7.8 earthquake. It was deadlier than any other worldwide since Haiti in 2010, as well as Turkey's deadliest since 526. I don't know what that means. And Syria's deadliest in 1822.
I didn't know that about like the comparison between Turkey and Haiti.
I didn't either. I didn't know. I kind of remember this, but I don't remember the severity.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Number 7, the U.S. Speaker of the House election fiasco. There's 2 comments. I don't even remember this. I think this is the Brexit event, and then good.
Huh.
Dude, I don't even know.
I don't even know. The only thing that I'm familiar with, and I mean, this is probably like older than that, or like more recent than that, is the whole George Santos.
Yeah. He's still in the news.
Huh?
He's still in the news.
Oh, yeah. No, at this point, he has to be a celebrity. How else is he going to make money?
I think, yeah, he's doing fans only, I'm guessing.
He's on Cameo.
Is he for real?
He's on Cameo.
Do you want that for your birthday?
Hard pass.
Well, you let me know.
Yes. George Santos? No.
Oh my God, I got to get the budget. Okay, number All Quiet on the Western. All Quiet on the Western Front wins 7 BAFTAs, including Best Film. Did you see that movie?
Which one?
All Quiet on the Western Front.
No, I didn't see that one. I heard about it.
It says, it's a shame the Academy Awards embraced wokeness because this movie was superior to the Michelle Yeoh project that won there. At least this Felix Kramer vehicle received its due at BAFTA. People's comment.
I'm not, like, I love film, I love movies, but I'm not as well read on like the things that are like indie or stuff like that. Like if I hear it's like critically acclaimed, like I need to hear it from some people I know first before I go watch it.
Yeah,
it took me forever to watch. Oh my God, what was that one movie? Now I'm mad that I even brought it up. Parasite.
What is it?
Parasite. Phenomenal movie.
Really?
One of those like critically acclaimed kind of indie vibes, but it's good. It's a good movie.
I still haven't seen Mission Impossible. I haven't seen a lot of things.
I mean, I haven't seen Mission Impossible either, but I would watch it because what's his name does all of his stunts. I love watching those.
And Scientology and a bunch of other weird stuff.
And Scientology and yeah, maybe some other things we can't mention.
Through my door because they're listening worse than the
Right.
Number 9, Pope Benedict. I don't know Roman numerals. The 9th, the 8th. Let's see, 10 minus 5 plus 1 is that the 14. How do you do Roman numerals again? It's XVI. So you minus
X
the
is 10. V I can't remember.
5.
Oh God. Yeah.
I think V is 5. I is 1.
Oh, there we go.
4th. Yeah, I think it's the 4th. But then wouldn't it just be VI?
Well, X is a 10.
What's that?
So X is a 10.
Yeah.
XVI, you say V. Okay, so 14. That's weird. So maybe 15. Maybe it's the 16th. XVI.
No, I think when it's lower before you subtract it.
We're smart. Girl. Yeah. I'm out.
I think it's the fourth. VI, but then I don't know why they wouldn't just do whatever. So Pope Benedict, rest in peace. And then number 10, Hawaiian wildfires. This is the most
that's so sad.
Yeah, a blaze in Maui is affected. The loss of life is unprecedented for Hawaii. Rest in peace to all the lives lost for their families.
Rest in peace.
So there was a lot of other. I think there was bigger events. What did you have on your list?
Let's see. I brought up, because we were together, the Rihanna Super Bowl performance.
Oh, yes.
Oh, good. Come on. Give that lady her things. Everybody was like, oh, she wasn't dancing enough. Lady's pregnant, hanging in the middle of the air. Give her a break. And she sounded great.
I thought it was awesome.
Oh my God. Yeah. We had a time that day.
I'm staying for one drink and left at, I don't even know, 10 o'clock. I'm fired. I was so fired.
We were both fired.
We didn't eat any food either. It was like we started the year just ready to just flow.
Woo! Yeah, no, that was, talk about flow. I was toast. but it was so good. So I really enjoyed her performance. What else do I have on here? Oh, the strikes, WGA and SAG. They were striking, and remember there was there was like a studio exec who was saying, oh, I'll keep this going until people start losing their apartments and houses. Sicko. So I'm glad that they got it together. And, people have been talking about AI, and part of the issue was that the actors were like, well, we don't want you scanning our faces and using it in perpetuity. And they were like, yeah, no, we will. So that's why things kept, amongst other issues they were trying to work out, that was one of the main things. And I thought that was so insane for you to say, no, I will use your face in perpetuity. Because imagine them scanning your face, and AI, like, they can make your face move. I mean, all the silly things we do on social media, they can do times like a million. And I'm just supposed to let you have my likeness in like in perpetuity. You can put it in movies, you can put it in commercials. That's insane to me. And then I don't get paid?
Right. I think that's just such a better example of how the shift of things are happening, where it's like, I'm going to do what I want because I always have, and I'm going to do it. And it's actually like, listen, that doesn't work anymore. Like the fact that in your mind, you think you're just going to do this highly illegal, awful, immoral shit and not even question it. Be like, what do you mean? Of course we're going to do this. Like It is, the page is turning.
It's not even a conversation. Like, they truly are just like, yeah, no, sign on the dotted line, like, beat it. And it's like, no. So I'm very proud of them. And I know that there's been other strikes. Oh, I think it was FedEx or UPS, but whichever one it was, those
UPS, EC.
Yes, the guys that, deliver your packages now make 6 figures. Yeah. Shout out to them.
Yeah. And they wanted AC in the trucks and like some basic stuff, because like when they're delivering, you can't shut the doors and whatnot. It's like the heat conditions and the cold. It's aggressive.
Yeah, it's intense. It's just like, I mean, we love dogs, but who knows? There might be some crazy ones out there.
Not at my house.
They'll just be like, oh, hey, drop that right there.
Talk around and find out.
Colette would just go and grab it. It's fine.
Facts. Yeah, Dakota would just eat it. It wouldn't even be worried about the human.
Dog, you wouldn't even know what it came in. The packaging would be gone.
Yeah. Oh, that's happened a couple times for sure. I guess it doesn't come to the yard. Anyone else?
I love my nephew. That's a good boy.
Oh, they miss you.
What else did I have? Oh, the Netflix password crackdown. How dare!
That would be on your list.
Of course. On Twitter, they've been reposting where Netflix years ago said, love is like sharing a password. And people will be like, well, that didn't age well. Like, no, clearly not. I'm only bringing that up because I've been trying to find a way to make sure my mom can stay on my account. Yeah. And now I have extra. It's a whole thing.
You can share up to like 3 or something, right?
You have to be in the same household.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. So since they can tell that we're not on the same Wi-Fi, they're like, girl, no. And yeah, it's
funny they don't want to pay the actors, but then they want our $13.99 a month to like take an extra subscription, but you don't want to like pay screenwriters and like what?
Right. And then they're like fleecing us like for every tiny thing. Like, do you want to watch in 1080p? You got to pay an extra $2. You want to what? Do you want, you know, like adding my mom now that you can't share the passwords? Fine. Do you have multiple people before the password crackdown? In order for me to have at more than 4 people on my account, I had to pay extra. Like, oh my God. Like, I don't even want to know what I pay for Netflix today. It's insane.
Well, I keep raising the prices and everything, but I don't know. It's on
but like the little tiny add-ons. It's like, grow up. You're already taking my money. Yeah. And I'm so sorry, but the content hasn't been that good.
I was gonna say they were doing a really good job for a while. Tiger King, real quality cinema.
They got us through the pandemic. I'll give Netflix that. They got us through the pandemic. But I mean, I watched The Crown, so I did watch it and I finished it. It was good, but it wasn't like, oh my God, riveting. Like the other season. Yeah. Well, I know you didn't.
I did watch Love is Blind because we're basic.
Yeah, we'll deep dive that. I was highly disappointed. This was like the most lackluster season I've seen in my entire time I've done the show. I don't know who's casted, but fire them.
Yeah, well, the bigger it gets, they're getting like better looking, more intentional hot messes to be good tea, but they're all there to be influencers. So it's getting less and less. The more they're there to be influencers. So it's not, they're not, they're dating. As soon as the reunion comes, they're like, I'm already dating someone else. It's like it's like great. Yeah. And now your Instagram has a blue check. Like this sucked for the viewer.
Thank you. And the blue check you pay for these days. Weird.
Right?
But
it's going to $15.99 a month.
Disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah. Earn it or skip it.
Yeah.
You know? All right. What else?
Okay. Hip hop turned 50 this year.
Oh yes, I should have said that. Yeah. Oh my God, there were so many good tributes.
Yeah, so millions of tributes, and then not that this is like hip hop 50 related. My guy Andre 3000 put out a flute album, and it was actually pretty damn good.
Really? He should have a feature on it.
No, it's straight up flutes. It sounds like spa music.
No, she plays the flute. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I hope she's doing well. What's going on with
I know.
her?
She disappeared. Well, I think, there was some fuckery.
I would. I'd take a little spat. I'd go to Bali, what's that name? Russ. Oh, Russell Simmons. He's hiding in Bali. Yeah. Side note, to go with that, the whole Diddy stuff that's been going on.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. What do you think about it?
Just do. It was only a matter of time. If you're going to be the type of person that forces people to walk from different boroughs to get cheesecake, you're unhinged. And then the stuff that they were saying, I don't really want to get into what was being said that Cassie said was going on, but I was like, I gotta believe it. Not that I don't believe it, but when I read it, I was like, oh yeah, he did that.
Yeah. I think it's no different than the Netflix execs, all these Hollywood Epsteins and
yes. Mm-hmm.
They have no rules. There's no boundaries. So not only getting away with it, I think as internally as humans, nothing is satisfying anymore. You bang all the hottest girls, you make all the money. So now you're doing freakier, crazier, more expensive
stuff.
Oh,
weird. Yeah. No, I've always felt that he was an unsavory human being, but I've always known that he's in a way he's like those big companies, you're too big to fail. So people invest too much in him, and that's why they let people like him get away with bad behavior.
Ooh, it's a lot of weird industry control and the power of the public, because the public still, and if you're someone's favorite album or whatever, Chris Rock's whole comedy was if you still listen to Michael Jackson music but you disown R. Kelly, he's like, what the fuck, that's not cool, which I'm pretty much one of those. So it's I get it.
My thing is this, I feel like we've had this conversation, but I will always love the music and I will separate the artist, because you already know how I feel about Kanye. I do not agree with anything that comes out of that man's mouth unless it's in music. And even then, I don't know if I agree with it, but it sounds good. Okay. But an artist. I love Michael Jackson's music. My children will listen to Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm very torn on the whole like R. Kelly situation because my favorite female artist is Aaliyah, and he did a lot of her music before she went to Missy Elliott and Timbaland. So I'm not gonna not listen to Aaliyah's music. Sorry. I love 4-Page Letter. Actually, no, that was Timberland Missy. I'm good. Either way, the first album was still good. I'm listening to it.
It's the art and the artist. It's definitely two different things, but the industry evolution still has to keep happening.
Yeah, two things can happen at once. I want people to embrace that not everything is black and white. It's not just gray. Thank you. This is why we do this podcast. There's so many things that can be true at the same time. Once people start to hold multiple things as true in their minds, we might grow as a society.
Facts. Contradiction's real, and it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah. All right, what else is on your list?
Okay. Last but very much not least, Beyonce had the Renaissance World Tour.
Hey.
The best show I have seen in my entire life. And I want to be very clear with these listeners and the public. I am not a Beyonce stan, okay? I've always respected her craft. I respect that she's a hard worker. And to be honest, I didn't really care about watching her until she did the homecoming performance at Coachella. Then I was like, hold on, what's going on in here? This is great.
Yeah.
Renaissance World Tour, fabulous. The microphone is on, okay? And like she messes around with you just so you know the microphone is on. The band, phenomenal, okay? Yeah. The set, and if you guys want to learn about the set, go watch the movie. The movie, phenomenal. Also, I think it's like a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes for a documentary, / concert. Come on.
I haven't watched it yet. Okay.
We're going to watch it.
Okay.
What we do, this is what we're going to do. When it comes out on streaming, we'll watch it at your house. We got to make sure the Sonos are connected. Like it's a thing. It's a thing.
Okay.
We'll have a dance party / watch party because it's going to be a dance session.
Where'd you go see it? In the theaters?
I did. I'm thinking about, my only regret is that I didn't see it in IMAX because, woo! But I will say, I actually went to go see it at the Pavilions. So shout out to the Museum for Black Girls. They had an event. So they have like a space in the Pavilions, and then like they had us walk around their museum, which is gorgeous. If you haven't been, it's in the Denver Pavilions downtown. Check it out sometime. Wonderful organization. They had like some Beyonce themed drinks. So while you're walking around the museum, and they were playing Beyonce music, it was awesome. And then we walked, over to the movie theater at the Pavilions and had our own movie theater to like dance and sing and just have a good old African-American time. It was
that in Denver?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Where
okay.
the Pavilions are at, like the downtown, like where the movie theater is.
I'm impressed. Yeah, no, I know. That's what I was like, are you sure Pavilions I'm thinking of? Yeah.
I know. I had heard of it, but I didn't know where it was. So this was my first event of theirs that I went to, and I will say it was fabulous. We had a good old time, and yes, we need to watch that movie.
Dude, done and done. Yeah, I want to wait till it's right, and I know you love this, but I wanted to see Taylor's as well. Ironically, I've seen Beyonce, I think 3 or 4 times. I've seen her twice in California at the Rose Bowl. Mm-hmm. I think they're smaller times, but I didn't get tickets for the Renaissance. They were super expensive.
They were intensely expensive, and also, shameless plug. I love you so much, Rose and Colmy. Thank you. Amen.
You saw her. I love that you covered like the pop culture, and I just had like basic Bill.
Like yin and yang.
Seriously. All right. Well, let's get into our list. This is the bulk of it, and it was so. I hope people are doing theirs year after year because it was really cool to listen to what we were talking about last year, even today, and like I said, seeing the difference. And it's so funny because I don't know how much you really notice yourself changing. Like I know like we have markers with seeing that, but if you consciously just sit there and be like, God, a year went by so fast, but even in that time I think about how much has happened externally, but also how much has happened internally, and not even trying, like it just shifted. Did you feel that this year?
Oh, 1000%. And one thing that I wanted to add on to what you just said is I don't think adults are we're not really encouraged to like monitor our growth. Like everybody's obsessed with like, oh, like you had a baby, now it's a toddler, now it's a teenager. It's like, well, you still grow as an adult. So like the way that I thought in my 20s is not how I think in my 30s. The way that I thought last year might have had some refinements for this year. So I think it's very important that we do stuff like this. If you don't do a podcast, totally fine, don't have to. But I'm glad that you keep telling people to write it down.
Yeah. Well, I'm turning off my heater really quick, just because the studio is so beautifully warm. It started to get cold. We were still in that base level, but yeah, no, it's real. And I think that check-in point, I do think it's becoming more popular, like in general for society to like be mindful and check in and do all this. But I think when your world gets busy, married, kids, job, training, whatever this thing, it's hard. Pause.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's, I mean, you know me, I love New Year's Eve, but I also, for me, it symbolizes like a new year, a new way to start anew. So you have to go back and see what did you achieve or who were you this entire year so you can see how you want to move forward. Do you want to make changes? Do you want to keep going? How do you want to iterate?
Yeah. It's, well, I mean, I called Ashley and I was like, yeah, we didn't do the interview. I can do this like tomorrow, how we kicked off the convo. And I'm like, we even forgot. We're really good about this stuff. And it's like, shit. So we're keeping up.
And we look forward to it. It's not that we didn't want to do it. But like everybody else, life is busy.
Yeah. Well, December was just heavy, not in a bad way, but it was just like a heavy energetic shift. I don't know if people are listening thinking like, man, it really was. And it's not even that it was bad. There were some like hard things in my world for sure. And families always in the holidays is always a situation for everyone. Mm-hmm. But damn, it was just like a heavy month. Not bad, but just intense.
I'm telling you, Mercury's in Gatorade, guys. Be careful.
That's so funny. All right, let's crush through a review because I don't know. It was so, I hope people are writing something down because to look back, as I was thinking about what I wanted to say for today for my preview, when I was listening to last year's, I was like, oh shit, that's kind of some of the stuff I was going to say today. So it provided space for me to think like it's similar, but actually different. So for my blessings, the first one, it says, I accidentally skipped over this unintentionally. It says in 2023, I was one word. I must have missed that in my own worksheet, which is right on brand for me.
We're on the same page.
Yeah.
Let's put down everything else.
I was growing for sure.
Yeah.
What would be your one word?
I was, oh God. I want to say, okay, I was receptive.
Ooh,
there was a lot of receiving going on because I needed to be like in the last podcast for last year, I was discussing how I wanted to go with the flow and let things come and like come together. So I was kind of in a state of like receiving and like seeing how that fits in.
Well said. Well, yeah. God, it's so weird to listen back and then think about the year.
Crazy.
2 blessings in 2023. I said peace of mind and then growth and evolution. After I thought about it, my answers do actually sound very different than years in past because it's very, I think in past, like you do these lists with the intention of like some illusion of control, even though we've talked about like you don't have that much control. But this point right now for me is like totally surrendering control, but also being really intentional about my desires and what I really want and fearlessly pursuing them. And I think that's that peace of mind and growth and evolution that actually hit this year. And I think with even in like the last 90 days, like this pivot for me has just like really hit me in the face hard and like clarity has like happened.
I gotcha. I will say my two blessings in 2023, they will sound materialistic, but it's what's behind it. So in 2023, I bought a house. By myself.
That's what's up. And I got an article written about it.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. Had an article written about it and everything. It's in the Colorado Sun, everybody, if you want to look at it. But behind that, everybody that helped me, like, really rallied behind me to make sure that my transition and, like, even just if I had questions about, like, the home buying process, like, my friends who have bought a house, like, they would offer their advice and then they check in on me to see how I'm doing just because it's a stressful thing to do, especially if it's your first time. And then, there's people like you and Paula and Drew and like the name mom, the list goes on of everybody who offered physical help. So thank you for moving my things. So it was just having people rally behind you was very touching and just very warming. And another thing I will say, this is more of like a learning experience. I bought myself a car. A lot of you may know that I lived downtown for 5.5 years, so I did not have a car for 5.5 years. So this is my very first time, like not buying a car from somebody that I know, or, like the traditional, let me go to the dealership and like haggle. Oh my God, hate it, but whatever. It was a learning experience. Like it's whatever. But it was a learning practice. Like now I know how it goes down at the at the car shop. And also the main thing is that I was very intentional in utilizing my meditation practice before I even bought my car. So I gave myself a budget of like, okay, this is what I'm comfortable spending on a car. And then I needed to meditate on what kind of car do I want? Because, when you talk to other people, some people are like, well, German cars are best, but they're terrible with maintenance. And then there's people who's like, I'm a Honda person and I've had a Toyota and they run forever. Like, well, what do I want? What do I want? So I had to sit down. Of course, I want to listen to what people say, but I'm not everybody else. I'm not going to drive what you drive because I want to drive what I want to drive. Yeah. So I had to sit down, meditate, think, what do I want? And then let it come to me. And that's exactly what happened. I got what I wanted in my budget. So, and like, I like it. It's a cute, fast, zippy little thing. It's fun.
You hard adulted like overnight. House, car, business, like you had bing, bang, boom, man.
Yeah, it was the top of the year was, man. Yeah, it was hardcore, but I'm just glad that I had the opportunity to do so.
Dude, you earned it. Take all the credit. Like that's generational wealth moves. I mean, it's a ripple that changes the ways and the trajectory of your life, your kids' lives. Like these are huge steps in the scheme of things. Huge.
That's funny that you say that. I was, during the entire process and just talking like recently to my grandma, she always reiterates saying, I am so, so proud of you and I wish that my mother could see this happening. Like it would blow her mind. It would blow her mother's mind and all of your ancestors and all like the way that she talks about how she's proud. It's not because it's materialistic. It's just because of like where we come from and our cultural history, like being able to do stuff like this and to do it by yourself is a very big blessing and to not take it very lightly. So.
Amen. Yeah. I mean, it's perfect example. I live in my great grandmother's house and so I'm not just kicking it, which I think a lot of people think, but it's still part of my family, my grandmother's income. So it's still a piece of the puzzle that it's, we are on the shoulders of so many, and I'm not even comparing these two instances, just for an literal example of how it's still in the family.
No, but that's what I want. And I love that is a thing. Like I want my granddaughter to live in this, townhouse and like get her life started. And hopefully I'll make it easy for her to, become an adult. So I love that.
Amen. I hope our grandkids are doing a podcast in this exact room like 30 years from now.
I would love it. Just as long as we get to be guests, at least on one episode a year.
Facts. Hopefully the technology can just like beam us in or something cool. Something above it.
Something on the wrist.
I love it. All right. So the blessings, 2 challenges I overcame this year. Dude, I had way more than 2, but I said again, getting clarity and ending old patterns. And these are things I think I thought I had a grip on, but not really. I had so much fear about getting to the level where I want to go. Like I always, as a young person, I don't know if this will make sense, I always knew who I was. And then I think as time and experience and things go on and heartbreak and, and success or whatever happen, I was still playing somewhat in this safe zone, even though I pushed the line. And only until recently did I have like release and still releasing any fear around what I truly, truly want and knowing that the past is not the future. And we've talked about this at length on the podcast and whatever. And I just feel like for some reason now actually hitting. I think I just hit like a breakthrough point of moving forward. And then also, relationships this year and showed how I still was repeating some old patterns. And like really being honest with myself and letting it go. So I would say just combining all the challenges that came together. Those are like the two big themes of like, we get it. We're here.
Yeah. And I love that you said that, because like being authentic with yourself is actually a very hard thing for people to do. Not a lot of people talk about it. People talk a lot of how they perform in the world and present themselves in the world on how people expect them to, but it doesn't necessarily jive with who they really are on the inside. And that's why you might see people acting out or whatever may have you. But the fact that you're willing to confront that within yourself so you can be more in tune and aligned, that's some really hard work that a lot of people choose not to do.
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest piece, and this was new for me, and we'll go down the road, was just relationships, not even personal, but a lot personal, like romantic relationships, but also just like in family and other things. Like you really start to get hard feedback, or they're not even giving you feedback. You just see frustrations or positives. Yeah. You learn, and that mirror is really hard to digest. Like it's really hard to hear someone that cares about you say good or bad things and know that there's truth to that.
Absolutely. That's funny that you said that, because that leads into mine. My two challenges that I overcame was, like interpersonally, changing dynamics in different relationships. Some like life I've learned is an ebb and flow. Like you'll be very close to some people and not as close to other people. And then those same people you were distant from, you come back together, and then the other people you're close to, you drift away a little bit. So dealing with like the ebbs with people that you thought you would always be very, very close to is kind of like a hard pill to swallow. But also as you learn and grow and change, the way like my values have grown and changed, and they may not align with the people that I was very, very close to, and they probably will down the line, but just not right now. So dealing with that was actually, I'm right there with you. It was hard. It was a hard pill to swallow. It's hard to go through.
Yeah. Good for you though. I mean, again, that's that self-awareness, and we're not really taught to think about that, especially like families or relationship. Like that's like, when someone's had a certain role in your life forever, and to recognize it's not that, or it's not the story that you were told.
It's not that, or it's not really healthy. And like, if you're trying, like for me, it's not that my relationships haven't been 100% healthy. It's like the parts that were not, like now that I'm a different person, I want to function differently. But that doesn't mean that the other person wants to get on the same train as you. They might still want to be where they're at. And they don't like that you're changing up the script.
Yeah. A reason is in our lifetime. They don't need to stay there forever. Some do, most don't.
Exactly. We shall see. So yeah, that was my first one. And then the second challenge I overcame this year is, I feel like this, like you said, for your segment, like it's always come up, but I had a breakthrough. Essentially, I was like punched in the face and had to just deal with it. But becoming a leader and accepting my role as a leader. Like my thing is, I know I have leadership qualities. I know that basically every role that I've had in my professional life has been in like some leadership capacity. I just never felt like being a leader. I was like, oh, no, I'll listen, whatever, it's cool. But certain things in like my personal and professional life, I've been forced to be a leader. So one example, professionally, there was a lot of organizational change when I first started my job last year. And because of that organizational change, I had to step up and do things that are way beyond things that I'm capable of doing, but things that are way above my pay grade. And like, I just didn't know what I was doing at the time because I was new, but I was forced into like just hopping in and making it work. But we had the best NPS scores ever for that particular event, which is our largest event of the year. And I was the project manager that made sure that everything got executed. So it's one of those like, all right, girl, you're a leader, go lead.
Yeah, step into it. Well, accepting that responsibility is kind of a little about mine as well. And knowing it's okay to take the accolades alongside it. Like, I think you need it, but maybe you didn't seek the extra credit or the gold star because you're not that person. But also,
it's not even about the accolades to me. I don't mind. I love a compliment, but my thing is, I very much believe in heavy is the head who wears the crown.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, nope, somebody else can wear it. Like, let that be your problem. But this year, it's like I'm being forced to be a leader. I'm being forced to like be a leader in my family, you know, and like I never really want to do that. I'm like, Mama Lucy's the matriarch. Have her figure that out. No, like there are ways that I am in charge now, and I have to accept that role in our family, which I did not want to do, but here we are.
Well, the crown is heavy. You can rock it, and I've got a plethora of neck exercises if you need to work it out, so you're ready. And you can carry it.
Yes. So yeah, those are my 2 challenges.
I'm just envisioning Notorious B.I.G. with this one. Actually, I think it's up there on my wall. You can't see it. Yeah, you know I'm visual. I know I would turn my camera up if you could see, but it's going to mess up the camera. It goes, okay, 2 points of personal growth. Man, kind of the same thing. Recognizing what I want and desiring it, letting go of the old story. So same thing, but it just got real, I think, this year. And kind of like the leadership with you. And it's funny because yours was more like peace last year and mine was leadership. And now I think this year is more peace. And I feel like leadership is still in your world. So we've swapped, of course, but it's probably the same. We're just labeling it different. So to me, it was really...
I agree. I feel like they flipped in a way. But yes, we always have very parallel lives.
So this year it's or for last year it was really about not just recognizing but experiencing things that made me recognize what I really want. And for me, my personality, if you know me, we definitely have to run through the wall to get the clarity versus just meditating that we know it. There just has to be physical proof, and we got that. So we're in process. What were your points of personal growth?
Once again, very similar to you. So 2 points of, personal growth. Once again, becoming a leader at work and in my personal life. And then second one is like personal growth through therapy. So just continuing to lean into the standard of reciprocity that I not only set for myself, but for others. So, as I've been changing from being in therapy, some folks have been able to, get with it and they're like, oh yeah, this is cool. I like this new Ashley. I like how we function and how we talk to each other and how we treat each other. Some people are like, I like how we used to do things. I don't want to do things a new way. So it's trying to figure that out. And, like you said before, where we have parallels, like you're realizing you have like these stories in your head of like, oh yeah, this is how my relationship is. That's how it's always been. And, they're like awesome and blah, blah, blah. And then you're starting to learn it may not have been all that, and especially if you get older. So,
we're out here. All right, 2 points of professional growth. And I think, like my personal, they kind of intertwine like you. It says all in on the podcast and embracing the inner influencer. This has come up in the past, but last year I talked about coaching, wanted to get this ambassador program, which we got all that out, but I kind of needed to do these courses and all this like certification and even work with some clients. And I'm like, it's not that I don't want to do that. It's that I know that the podcast is a platform to reach more people and make it more accessible than the one-on-one time. I still want to keep that in my role because I miss coaching my young humans, especially in athletics. And I want to find space for that, but really getting clear that I want the podcast as the medium and I want Turmeric and Tequila as the brand and basically the vehicle for the larger message. And it took me a long time to understand that, or maybe to think it's possible. I don't know if it was fear or what, but then a lot, I just, having worked with influencers in the past, we've talked about this at length, cringe, but we're going to modify that. It's different.
I was doing like, you've been fighting it this entire time. Like, so it's like, one of those like, all right, yes, that's who I am now. I will do it.
There you go.
Mine is very similar, like I said, professional growth, executing the largest event of the year with my team, like very first event that I ever had to do, didn't know what I was doing, but pulled it off. And another thing that I enjoyed was doing business chemistry with my team. So, like how people have Myers-Briggs and all of that. We do like a Deloitte, like type of like business chemistry. So it was cool to learn. Especially as a project manager. I'm nobody's boss, so I'm here to influence you to get your work done. Yes. And I'm here to make sure everybody's speaking together and that we're all on the same page. So learning everybody's working styles was immensely helpful for me, because I'm like, okay, so this person doesn't like long conversations. They don't want to get on a long call. They like to get in, get out, and be done. And then this person, they need to connect. So I need to ask how they're doing. What's going on? Do you need a hug? You want to hold hands? All right, did you get your work done? You know, like just learning how to approach people.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss.
I love that, dude. The humanized approach. I think that's so awesome, and there's so much skill for you as the leader, just working with people, and then you get to connect more deeply with humans, and that's so much more gratifying. Yeah. Both parties.
Exactly. So I will say that was, not only did I enjoy the exercise, I really like globbed onto all the information that they shared, and you know, for folks outside of our team, you know, if I'm like, okay, this person isn't really responding to me, like I have other things in my arsenal that I can pull out to try to get things done.
You know, that makes the crown lighter. I'm serious. Like every piece of that intel makes the leadership role not only easier, just more enjoyable, more of, of an experience versus a grind.
Exactly. So, and I'm all about work smarter, not harder. So yeah, give me all the intel I need.
Thinking about that, but overtraining is my DNA. 2 things I appreciate about last year. Oh, man, I said all of it. It was a pivot point in life. Clarity came. So kind of like we talked about, there were so many pieces where I don't know what flipped the switch, and still kind of is flipping, but man, like a deep inner idea of like, I'm done with so many things, and I am clear on what the fuck I want, where I'm going, and how we're going to do this. And I don't know what it was, but it flipped over. So I kind of appreciate every piece of last year to jump into this year head on.
Yeah, it was preparation for this year. Absolutely. Yeah, I would say, what did I say? What I appreciated about last year is that I leaned into the very go with the flow mantra. Like I know I even kind of said it on the podcast last year. And I think I need to kind of go back to that a little bit for 2024. I feel like this year just because I achieved so much, I turned more into like, okay, what else do I need to do? Let me plan this, let me plan that. I think I need to step back a little bit and like let things flow in and see how they fit in again, because it helped for 2023. So we'll go with that. And then kind of going in with that, like things that I appreciate about last year, just seeing my manifestations become real. A lot of the things that I am experiencing or that I have experienced, like I had been praying and meditating on for years. And some stuff was like super quick, like my car, like that came really quick. But some things I've been, meditating on and thinking about and planning for years. So it's just really cool to see like, okay, I'm not just doing something that's super frou-frou and that makes me feel better. Like I'm doing work.
Yeah. Frou-frou. I'm here for that. 2 ways I was kind to myself, self-care. I said, open my mind to more and let myself love. And this was big, I think, just expanding my horizons on what's possible, which again, we've talked about a lot as, it's going to be so much better than we can imagine, which I kind of always, I know that. But in the back of my mind, just as such a doer, I was thinking, I have to do it. I've got to do it all. Like I'm faith driven and I believe in larger order and all these things. But in the back of my mind, I'm still thinking like, you better work hard, train hard, or do this. We talked about, and now, and like my skincare, the Skin Laundry, the girl, I'd see her once a week. She'd be like, nah, just be the queen you are. Let it come to you. Like stuff was coming through in the weirdest places where I'm like, I'm here for like a 15-minute laser. Like, I love it. Let's go. But I don't know.
Just how we started. That's how we got started. The last appointment, and then you got a new friend.
You just like pin me down and make me hold still to listen. Like, yes. Captive audience, and that's funny. That is exactly the same. The human in there she's awesome. She's younger and she's super intuitive. I'm like, how do you know this? Anyways, it was that, and then just letting myself love, and had a phenomenal relationship experience this year. And I'll talk about that a little bit down the road. It changed a lot, and it wasn't even a long time. It was just enough to like again flip that switch.
Yeah, and like you said just now, like to know that it's possible. Like I think that's why goals, even if they're small, are they're very serious to me. I always write down the things that I want to achieve. And if I feel like they're too big, I break them down just so, if I do one small thing, I know that the whole overall thing is possible instead of like, oh, that's too big. I don't know. I'm good. So I love that you said that. I think it's hilarious that you said, you know, your skin laundry. One thing, what 2 ways I was kind to myself this year, self-care, was skincare. And I mean, of course, I'm an esthetician, but I just really I really upped my routine. Like I've always prided myself on, I don't want to say lazy. I'm not like lazy, but I like to streamline process. So I don't believe in doing like 7 different products just to get good skin. I believe in streamlining, like, okay, here are the 3 products that you need. But one thing that I really improved upon was my routine. So I added a couple of things, but also made sure that I kept a routine, especially like one thing to call out for folks who work out. Like I do spin class like 3 to 4 times a week. All of that sweat can turn into like mini breakouts, and nobody wants that. So that's what I was like, nope, I'm going to be on top of it because I still want to, you know, be healthy and I still want to look good. So I know that scientifically and research wise, there are a lot of barriers to health. And one of them that I did study was hair for African American women, like, you know, sweating, like, oh my God, I just got a silk press. Not working out today. Or there's, you know, like there could be other things, like I just said, like skincare, like my forehead broke out because I went to spin class and I had like, you know, like nobody wants to deal with that. So then you just don't.
Yeah.
So
too much dry when the whole top of the forehead dries out. That's me.
Yes. Okay. Don't get me started. It's been a whole thing. So, but we're on top of it and it's glowing. I'm happy. Yay. And then my second thing is I want to be very clear. It's not like a materialistic thing. It's just more of like a manifestation of like things that I have prayed for and like have been patient for, because I'm very into delayed gratification. So 2023 was the year that I started buying like really expensive like shoes and purses. I'm just so proud of myself because I never did. And if I did, I would buy them on consignment. And don't get me wrong, I still buy things on consignment. Like I scour the internet before I make a decision. But just being able to be in that position, I'm very grateful and thankful. And 2, I never bought anything really nice in my 20s, and I waited 4 years into my 30s before I was like taking off the things that I've always wanted to have. So that's been a cool experience.
Amen. And that just feeling that is so awesome. I had a podcast with Christy Whitman in 2020, and I've re-listened to it like 3 times. I can't remember. I think it's like 131. I'll look really quick, but it's outwardly successful, inwardly a mess. Let me see really quick, just because I think if you're listening, or even for you, it's 102, outwardly successful, inwardly trapped. And she talks about desires and manifesting, and she's big on exactly what you're saying, fashion and whatnot. She's like, I went to Venice and I bought this new purse, or I picked it all out, and her then boyfriend, now husband, was like, I don't know if I can afford you. And she's like, you don't have to, I'm gonna afford myself. And a couple years later, she went back to Venice and bought all the bags she wanted because she became a personal coach and all these things. But it was just that desire effect and the ability, like you're saying, to have the opportunity to do it, but you desired it, grew it, and then manifested it.
Exactly. Send me that book, because
I would. Well, it's the desire factor. I'll literally send you the podcast right now.
Because I'm gonna read that. That sounded amazing.
Yeah, it's oh my God, she's so good. I actually wanted to reach out to her again to come back on the show just to check, because I couldn't believe it was so I'm training for this marathon situation, whole other thing, and I was just scrolling through podcasts and I happened to hit it. I wasn't even trying to listen to it because, you know, universe is here to whoop you. And so I was like, oh, okay, you know, let's just check this out. And I've literally listened to it twice ever since. And it couldn't have been more on time for this year, the things that were going on. Let me see, we hit 200 this year, so we're way back. But yeah, if you're listening and you're in kind of like in a space of transition, or, you know, you want something different, I swear this conversation, and she's very blunt about her experience with family and expectation. And I don't want to pontificate too much on this, but
to put it in the comments.
Yeah, I will put it out here. We'll definitely get it done. I'll send it to you after this. I don't know why it's making it so hard for me to send. There we go. This is like us setting up the camera.
Oh my God. Talk about
microphone. We're here. Yeah, she's awesome. So go check out Christy Whitman. But literally, you should listen to it because I've listened to it twice and I've rethought, and I love how blunt she is with her family and like the generational narrative and so many things. But okay, moving on. I pontificate.
No, you're good. But yeah, just being able to be proud of engaging in delayed gratification and, like, okay, yeah, I waited and now I get to reward myself. Very proud of that. Because, I mean, we live in a society that is not delayed gratification. It's like, get what you want now and put it on credit and figure it out later, or just figure it out. I don't know how you're going to, I don't know, just do whatever you want. And it's like, I'm very into being disciplined. Mm-hmm. So the fact that I was able to be disciplined all these years, that's why I'm happy.
You have the bags and the shoes, but dude, you also have the house and the car. Like, you have major purchases that
it took years. People were like, oh, overnight success. That took years. And some years it was just, I just got the message, that it just wasn't the right time. So could I have bought a house, excuse me, Jesus. Could I have bought a house, years ago? Yes. Could I have been like house poor and like just eating sandwiches all day? Yeah.
And that's how most people do it. And I think also you weren't in a position maybe where you were married and the kids on the way, so you got to make a move. Or, your back's against.
No dual income over here.
Right. Whole other podcast.
Right.
Two people I'm grateful for in 2023. I don't like to put too much of my biz out there, so I'm not going to fully unpack this. But my mom, of course, always the heavy hitter and the backbone and the believer. Before I saw the vision, I mean, I even called her this year because I've never sweated my age or timing or anything. But seeing just like family get older, my dogs get older, like time's moving, and I really want big things. Materialistic, just to feel the joy and the power and the divine coming through me, mostly though for impact and the ability to help others and whatever the story is. But I felt the pressure this year, and I kind of like you, the delayed gratification. I was like, I've waited so long for the right opportunity, the right person, the right things, because I'm here. I'm like you. I'm like, I will wait for the right thing, however long it takes, versus get in it. And so I just got to always give a shout out to my mom because she sees it. And then I will give a personal shout out to John. We won't fully unpack this, but open-minded, open-hearted, and it changed the game for me. So I'm appreciative of that human in our experience.
Oh, I love that. And also, I mean, I feel like I said in the last podcast, I can't remember, but I was like, yeah, I think you're going to have love this year. And you're like, yeah, okay, whatever. So yeah, no. And I'm on the same page. I feel like we do this every year, and it's like, shout out to my mom. So
they deserve it.
They do. I mean, we have very phenomenal women in our lives. And I mean, not to compare, but, knowing like how other people's moms are and can be, we're just like very, very blessed. And it makes me even more happier that everybody loves my mom and, asks her for advice, or they just love being around her. And she loves that. So, oh my God, I mean, everybody knows that Mama Lucy loves you. So yeah, just love my mom, very grateful for her. And, going back to what I said earlier, I'm just very grateful for everybody who helped me through my home buying process.
Boom. The layers, man, the layers that we need.
Right.
All right. In 2024, I will be one word. And this was easy for me. Well, I'll say this at the end, but yeah, it was easy for me. I just said me, the person I know I always was. So, I know, isn't it, like, again, my young self, man, had her shit figured out. And the middle-aged self is like, bitch, where are you, 0-year-old? Like, you have it going on. Yeah, I always had these really deep intuitions. And again, a switch flipped this year of like, it's time to be that girl. Like you always were. It's not a better or worse or elite or, inferior. Like there's no label. It's just like the totally authentic, doesn't fully make sense, but always did make sense self that's showing up.
I love that. I love that for you. Mine is well-rounded. I made that one word. But in therapy, in the very beginning of therapy, when I first was getting into it and getting to know my therapist, the main complaint that I had is that my life, all aspects of my life were very different. They weren't not everything was like coming together at the same time. So I could be having like a good relationship, but I had like a crappy job, or I would have like really good relationships with my family, and then maybe I was on the outs with like a friend. Like I wanted everything to be like going well at the same time, or at least in a healthy space. Not, I mean, life isn't always gonna, you know, be going well all the time, but I want to be in a healthy space with every aspect of my life. So that's gonna be my 2024. I feel like I've seen it happen in 2023. Like we've made some strides, and I've seen how it is very possible. But like I told you earlier, I'm throwing things into overdrive for 2024. Like I know that I can do stuff, and I solidified that 2021, 2023. Now I'm kicking it into overdrive with all my confidence and know-how.
Amen. And Christy, the girl I was talking about, talks about that even in that podcast, again, 2020, so 4 years ago. And she says the art of having it all. I don't think a lot of us, or I should just speak for myself, if you really say it out loud, believed in that even keel, like you can be happy. Like this can actually be a thing, because there's the defense. You're always staying ready for something, and like that's okay. But like,
wait for the shoe to drop all the time, or depending on what stories were passed down to you through family members, friends, that their experiences, people like just put into you, like, oh yeah, that's not possible. You just have to deal with it, and you just keep it pushing. It's like, no, this is how I want to do things. I've done the work. I've seen that it's working. I'm going to push.
Yeah. Amen. Yes. Happiness is possible. And like true peace. And again, like you just said, not perfect, but true peace where, you know, you got your partner, you got your business, your profession, you got your inner peace. Like that can be in existence, like for real.
Absolutely. And it's okay to want that. I feel like in our society, people kind of like, well, I don't know if that's possible, or they, you know, look down on you if you're shooting for that. Like, go ahead and shoot for that.
Amen. 2 things I hope for in 2024, and what I'm doing to make them happen. Kind of like we just said, I said letting go, letting things happen, deeply setting my desires. And so I was such in a space before of doing, and now I'm just getting clarity and then letting things come through.
Love that. Kind of like last year, you know, I do my vision board towards the end of January, so I'm still kind of mulling over, trying to listen to what it's going to be. But I will say, like I said earlier in our conversation, maybe just getting back into like letting things flow in and then see how they fit into my life from there.
I love it. It's usually it's about doing, and I like that it's just let it come.
Yeah.
Through. Keep the faith. 2 points of personal growth I am aiming for, and how will I achieve them? I said love and all around business and life success, wanting more and then some, #choir. You know, it's always going to be in the background, front. I don't know how it fits in, but I know that it's there. And I think that is like that peace, happiness, and just really loving. Like, I think, you know, our family stories are different, but there's always kind of like this like hard grind with a lot of stuff and opposition and like showing up and fighting and defending. And now it's just like, fuck it. We're not going to fight it. We're going to hug it and embrace it and kind of just let it be. I feel like our world needs that too.
I agree. That's funny that you said that. I just finished reading Bell Hooks' All About Love. Please read that book. It's not that long. It's not audiobooks. It's only 6 hours. Okay. And it specifically speaks about American society, but yeah, we need to, I mean, it's very Marianne Williamson, but we need to make a return to love. And yeah, we're kind of living in a loveless society. We need to prioritize and like come back together.
Good. Send me that after. I'll get it from you.
Oh yeah. You can, yeah, I bought the book, so I'll send the book to you.
Acceptable.
I can't think of, oh yeah. Did we say, we're on personal growth, right?
Yeah, 2 points of personal growth I'm aiming for and how I achieve them.
I only have one so far. Well, you know what? I'm going to piggyback off of you and say love. So I'll keep going with that. Like, okay, yes, I know that what I want is very achievable and something that not only am I deserving of, like it's a standard that's okay. Because once again, like I was saying earlier, a lot of people try to talk you out of what you think you believe you deserve. Like, oh, no, you have to deal with this. You have to do this. Like, no, I don't have to. You can if you want to. So I will say love. And then shorter recovery periods within my mental health. So like if, I don't like saying negative, but like if, challenges or things that really hard things that you have to work through, or like setbacks come, I want to, like you do when you work out, like you want to shorten your recovery period. You don't want to sit on your butt too long. You want to get back up and get back into the work. So I want to like just really hone in on what tools help me recover faster from any setbacks or anything that I have to push through, and just to add to being even more resilient.
Yeah. Which I think you have, like you are mentally fit. I feel like that recovery is apparent. Seriously.
Thank you. Yeah. No, I want more.
There's always room for gains. Like never stop training.
I'm doing my protein smoothies.
My girl, I love it. All right, 2 points of professional growth for 2024 and how will I achieve them? I said monetize the podcast, which I talked about last year, but I think I said that with a little bit of fear, and I don't know. I think this is like we're in it; it's happening. And fully initiate T&T as a brand. I've actually taken steps to figure out how we do fulfillment on a larger level, so we're on Amazon and we can streamline some of these processes. Yeah, it's definitely chicken and egg. If you're out there, you gotta like. Oh, man, it's literally chicken and egg. You got to spend to get in, and then hope that it turns. Like I have faith. Really it's a fucking leap.
Yeah.
But it's time. It's always been on my mind, and now it's like we're there. We've got a good base. We've got not even just like reps and downloads and likes and all that stuff that does matter. It's more just clarity on the cause, feedback from the audience, like just building something into like a whole thing.
Right.
For just like, a brand and a mantra and an Instagram account. It's like a living, breathing situation.
A lifestyle.
Facts.
Which it is.
We're trying, man.
Oh no, it is. I will say 2 points of professional growth for 2024. I'm going to get my PMP. So it's a project management certification. Everybody cries and whines about how hard it is. Shout out to my friend Annie. She got hers this year. She passed it on the first try, and she's going to make sure that I'm successful and I make sure that I pass on my first try. So that's going to be what I do next for 2024. And just to continue to learn the business and how things run on my team. Like we do, like for people who don't know, I do project management on an events team for a very large corporation. I'm going to keep that pretty private. But doing the events the way that they do them on a really huge scale is completely different from when I own my own business, throwing parties for like 100 people. So just learning how we pull everything together and get something so huge to be successful and execute like that. Oh my God, it excites me. So I just want to delve deeper and just see like, okay, this is how they do it. This is how they do it. And then, maybe down the line, I'll consult, or maybe I'll create something. Who knows? But yeah, I'm in learning mode, but I love what I'm learning, and what we do it well. So I'm very proud.
Hashtag varsity. I love that. Well, that's why you're there.
Talk about varsity. Yeah, we're a varsity team.
Dude, and if you get that on the daily, that's your daily exposure. That is a blessing in itself. Seriously.
Very, very thankful. I'm very proud of our leader and how she runs our team. Everybody on our team, they know their stuff and they execute, which makes my job easier.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, yeah, you level up, like the bar keeps raising, you keep going up. But as we say, mission-driven humans unite, because with the water level rises, all boats rise. You don't want to be in any other situation.
Absolutely.
All right. 2 ways I will be kind to myself this year. I said, number 1, fully express myself all the time, podcast, heart, fashion, and socials. I don't think I've ever filtered very much, ever. Yeah. So love it or hate it, you're getting what's real. And I think we just got to lean in harder. The choir is a huge piece of that, because I think music is such an expression. I don't know how that path unfolds, but it's there. And just leaning into everything more neon, more exposure, more communication, like more of everything. I don't even know how that makes sense, but it's in it, and we're leaning into it.
I see the vision.
Yeah, it's there.
I love that. Let's see. I said just to not be too hard on myself if things don't go as expected. Whenever things don't go necessarily my way or expected, I tend to just beat myself up of like, what could I have done better? Like, what did I do? So just trying to work through that. And yeah, I guess it kind of goes back into what I just said, but taking pressure off myself, just making sure that, I'm just not being too hard on myself, not too much pressure. Like I am doing the best that I can. And like, yes, there's always room for improvement, but like trust the process. It doesn't have to be very quick.
Yeah. I hear that. That's something we got to continue to learn. Your screen froze. So move your mouse real quick.
Oh no, so rude.
With me. Mercury Gatorade.
I told you. Oh God.
2 goals, intentions for 2024. I said fully be free and you're good now. Fully be free and let the good come to me. Let the desires lead and manifest my reality versus grind for it. So same thing we kind of talked about. It's almost like doing more by doing less and just getting the mental there versus the physical, which everything in my world is physical.
Yeah.
So we're switching it over.
I love that. Yeah, and I agree. Like a lot of people don't say that mental work is work. It is. It's just a way how you choose to do the work. Do you want to do it in the physical realm or, in like a spiritual realm?
Yeah.
Or both.
I was gonna say you gotta do both. It's gotta be whole human approach here. Yeah. No. Facts.
Let's see. Yeah. My 2 goals and intentions for 2024, still mulling it over just because it's, I do towards the end of January. So TBD.
I'm okay with that. We were talking about this before we got on the mic. It's not like I talk to my nutritionist and she's like, well, if you eat, 2,000 calories a day, it's not like it starts over at midnight. So if you miss a day, if you're over or you're under, it's not like the clock strikes and everything goes to 0 at midnight. So just like this in our timelines, like we can have these goals and intentions, but the year is flowing. Like the time is honestly a construct. So the energy and the intentions and our destiny is fluid. So you don't always have to have it figured out. And our lists of the past 6 years are the proof of that, where we're kind of saying the same shit over and over, and we're doing it intentionally, but also universe is just at the wheel and we're showing up.
Yeah. And I'm not making any plans during Mercury and retrogrades. I'm good.
Hence all of our shit's freezing. Okay. Any tracking tools or points of accountability? I'm not really here for these because like intuition, it says leaning in and listening within on all levels. And this is what my intuitive is, my guides, therapies, everything is saying you already know, just listen. So we're leaning into that as tracking.
Ditto to everything you just said. I'm very much like, let me do my meditation. Let me do my therapy. Let me be open to listening and receiving and what resonates with me. Then I'll take action.
Boom. I love it. It says statements. This one was actually came really clear. I don't know if it'll make sense, but it makes sense to me. It says, I am free to be clear on what I want and letting it come to me because I know it's here and waiting for me. I'm ready. So very simple. It's more just like, it's like, when are you ready to step in? We are stepping in.
I'm here for that. Was that your mission statement?
That was, I said just statement. I don't think I was.
I left that blank. Sorry.
No, you're right. I did. That was just the label of the section, but for some reason I made a statement. So
I love that. No, it came through. Let it be. I'm here for that. I was like, I'll take that.
Why don't you lead off with your statements? Like, I believe I will achieve.
Okay. I believe that I will attain the things that I want for myself and that I won't be talked out of it or settle. I will achieve shorter recovery periods in working out and in mental health, bouncing back when things are going wrong, stressful, or unfair. I see myself as a leader. I choose to be resilient. I am worthy of love and the things that I desire for myself. And in the words of the great Beyonce and Giselle Knowles, I am that girl.
Hey, that's funny. That was almost like exactly that in statement was exactly what I wrote. Like,
I know, I was like, that flowed. I'm leaving it. And I've been listening to that song like whenever I'm nervous or if I need to like build my confidence. I'm like, no, we're gonna put that on. Put it on.
I love it so much, and it's so different when you've seen her live and like it just, I don't know, the hit.
It connected. Like, one thing I will say is, I mean, of course you can't compare your life to a billionaire, but sure. Like I will say specifically that Renaissance album was it like spoke life into me. Like me, I like very positive type of music, or I like stuff from the 70s, so like kind of funky. So that's why that album spoke to me. I'm not really into the whole like, he did me wrong, I'm so sad, I'm so mad, I'm going to break everything. Like I'll listen, but I don't want to internalize it. So this album, I was like, she made this for me.
Yeah. Well, follow me in this. I think you can compare yourself to any intentional human that's doing the hard thing, because that is you. So if that's Beyonce or Madonna or your mom, or, you know, the human up the street that isn't recognized as a notable billionaire hero, like there is everyday heroes everywhere. And like, so you can compare yourself to Beyonce in the fact that like you are hitting stuff head on. We don't walk in her shoes. We'll never know what it's like to the press and all the things. And like, she's living it with a full scope, so you can see what's going on. There's things that are relatable, like that, and this very humanized experience. Yeah,
you're right. When I watched the movie, there was, and without giving it away, because I'm sure it's been talked about a million times, but there's a part in the movie where she's discussing how she was building out the stage, and how she wanted her vision to go a specific way. And even though she thought everything, even though she was the head creator, the head everything, paying for the whole thing, she still got pushback from people, mainly men, that would be like, oh yeah, we can't build that because that doesn't exist. And then she would literally be like, well, I actually saw it here in this specific specification that I asked you to do. And I was like, if Beyonce has to deal with that and I deal with that, all right, cool. I get it. I didn't think that people would tell her no.
I mean, the society is still changing. Like, we're still turning the page. The page has not turned. It's mid turn. Like, there's still a lot that has to change. But I mean, money is power. So like, you can't build it. I will find someone that will. Like, say less. Next case.
Like, you can't just say like, oh yeah, it doesn't exist, and I just found that it exists. Like, I thought I just deal with that. Like, people, especially being a project manager, depending on the type of person that may or may not want to get their work done, they'll just be like, oh yeah, no, that's not how we do this. We actually do it this way. Then I have to go in a whole circle and figure out, oh, you put me in a circle. Okay, cool. Now I know this is how we do things. So the fact that it's not just me that has to deal with that, I had a moment. I was like, dang, all right, I get it.
That process doesn't end. And honestly, that could be corporate world or your 2-year-old just being like, oh my God, right. I'm going to gaslight you right now. And it's like, oh, okay. The fuck?
yeah.
Woo. Yeah. Yowzers. You're doing a good job, Beyonce and Ashley. All right. My statements. I said, I believe in destiny. I will achieve peace. I see myself as a worthy human living a life of service. I choose to be responsible. I am worthy of everything: love, success, impact, power, and I am here. All of my stuff. The last podcast we talked a lot about, I think last year was, training for CrossFit. And then this year, even training for the marathon, it was a lot about physicalness. And then I didn't even going back through this, I didn't think about the physical one time in any of this. Everything was internal. So to your point about just the therapy and being mentally fit, man, it's just so much, you need both, but it's so much more important to connect, but continue to connect and stay in that, because going to the gym, you're not fit after a week or a month of the gym. You got to kind of just do this practice regularly, and it takes time to make it a real refined, fit, whole human, and that human condition keeps us fit and changing. So that's that piece of it. Do you want to lead us off with your statement?
Okay, so it's not technically a statement because I haven't built it out yet, but my 2024 mission statement will be something around reciprocity, love, and leadership.
Hey, I love that. God, and I love that you're in that leadership role, because you're the brand ambassador of those 3 things, and that's that's your light is leading through those, and that's what our role is. That's why you're in a leadership role. Yeah,
I discussing this in therapy, I've noticed that some people kind of model their behavior after me. And it's people that I look up to there. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize that they're watching me and somewhat emulating me. That kind of blew my mind. So I'm like, in a way, everybody's a leader. It's just, how do you want to embrace that? and share whatever gospel or messages you want to push out into the world.
Yeah, amen. That's everyone's an influencer. And that's why I think I wrote the responsible piece, because I think the more you are ready to take on that responsibility of that heavy crown, which it's not always a burden. I think like I really identify with even that statement, because it is a lot. Like there's responsibility, and your, great power requires great responsibility, but that's because you have the ability to have that power. Like there's one Beyonce, because she can carry the whole load of what being Beyonce is, and very few humans could do that. Like I think you're getting these opportunities to step in because you can carry that load, and in turn take on the responsibility to lead those that need leadership, or maybe they can't lead, or you are in for a reason, and it's not easy, but it's there for a reason, and you're equipped.
Speaking straight to, okay, read me. Jesus.
I don't know. Sometimes things just come through. So like always take this as a grain of salt.
I felt that. I received that. Thank you.
I will say I'm very confident in like when I do have into like these things, like I'm right. Like it's clear from my perspective. So like always take and pull whatever you want.
Yeah, take what you need, leave what you don't. But I took all of that.
Okay, good. Yes. It's intentionally said and said with love.
Yes.
My statement was simple, and then of course I had to pontificate later because that's what we do. I said, I am ready, period. I am here, period. Like now is the time. And it said, appreciating all of the past and letting go. I have learned what I need to, and am ready for what has always been waiting for me. The new chapter begins, and I'm ready for positive change, responsibility, success, and impact. Redundant as we do, but
clear is what we Thursday and what we need to do.
Yeah. And I like that both we're saying similar things. I think it's a lot about stepping into the space in general and like grabbing the crown that's been sitting there waiting for us, and meaning responsibility and probably carrying a heavy load, but intention.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely heavy load. I know I've been avoiding that.
Yeah. I seriously, but we are mentally and physically fit, whether we know it or not. I think we do know it now at this point, and in this conversation 6 years later, whatever these are, that we're ready. So I'm curious to see what next year will be like.
I know. I'm excited. I mean, excited to go through 2024, but I'm even more excited to, document our change. Like what will have taken place. And I know it's going to jive with what we said.
100%. Do you think you feel different now having this conversation than you did last year having this conversation?
Yeah, actually. Yeah.
How do you think you feel different?
Just more confident. Like just because last year was I'm going to go with the flow and let things come in and take it and just do with it as it comes. Whereas this year, I've seen so many things manifest. I've achieved so much stuff that I know it's possible. Like the really large things that I haven't even let my brain even go towards. Like if I did all the stuff that I did this year, I know for a fact. Not like, oh God, let's see if I can get it done. Like I don't have any fear or lack of confidence for 2024. I just know.
Hey, amen. I see it. I feel it.
Yeah,
I would say similar. Like before, I think I had weary, like I felt it. Now, I know. I feel my feet on the ground. I see the vision in front of me. I see the responsibility and opportunity and the gift that's there, and the ability to serve that duty that's calling, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
I feel it, and I'm just ready. I'm ready for the good, hard stuff that is. I don't even know if I want to say required, but I don't know. It's kind of like the journey that I was meant to serve is ready, and so I'm ready for that.
Yes.
Whatever that means. Like,
thank God we can do this together.
Yeah. No, seriously. You need your village. You need your humans. I really do think guys need our guys and women need our women. Like you need your tribe of people that know you, that will tell you the truth, and that you can tell your truth to, and just be like, I'm fucked up. This stuff is, I'm not good. Or like, I am good. This is great. Like, I'm really proud of myself. Like, it's both sides. You got to be able to share. And as things do pop off, like success and money and all these things that change the people around you, oftentimes, I think you got to keep these ones that are here before it all, because they're the ones that told you the truth in the beginning, and they're the ones that will tell you the truth after. And you don't want to be going down into the Weinsteins and all that path, which we won't and would never. But you need your crew around you that keeps it 100.
Absolutely. I mean, I always say this about you, but I say this about like the people I'm very close to in like my relationships, family and friends. Iron sharpens iron.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have no intention of being dull ever.
Hey. Yeah. It's crazy. We really haven't like connected in at least like a month. I think the last time I saw you was Paula's.
I know, it was at Paula's house, and like, yeah, I mean, but you know, we near or far, it's always like, oh, I haven't seen you in 5 minutes.
Well, it's like, what have you been up to? This happened. No shit, me too. Like almost to a T. Like,
girl,
this got us effed up. It's so crazy.
I'm telling you, Mercury in retrograde. Like, we just need 2 more days to get through this. I want to see what happens on January 2nd or 3rd. See if things get a little bit better. But yeah, woof.
I'm faithful. We're faithful and ready. Do you have any parting words as we wrap this up for the good universe that's listening out there?
Just to echo, just everybody, please do this. I think it's, you know, it's cathartic. I mean, I know we're doing it on a podcast and we're bouncing off each other, but I really encourage people to just like download it and like just sit with like a loved one, friends, family. I mean, you should even do this at work, whatever, like make it like a fun activity. But I think it is something that everybody should do every year. I look forward to this.
It's a really good unintentional tracking tool. And I want to put mine somewhere where I can see it mid-year, because I think I did it and then you kind of lose track and the year flies by, whatever. But it was really cool to hear it even today before I wrote down my intentional goals and whatnot, and to just feel that change and that internal shift that's like, damn, stuff is changing and the time's moving, and it's there's hard stuff, but also I think there's just the amount of positivity it reflects, and like the blessings of having people like you in my world that can lean in intentionally and just have like, you know, this reciprocity, but also just this like-minded like community of constantly trying to level up, and see that like physically, like a measurable tool that's magical. Like that's such a blessing.
I know. And I'm excited, like even more excited, like 10 years from now, like we can either listen back or, you know, just talk about to other people like, yeah, like that's what I was doing in 2023, and look at who we are today. Yeah. And still going strong with the podcast, because I will be expecting that we do this every year.
Oh, you already know. Even if I call you in the 11th hour as I do, I'm like, oh my God. It's not like I was putting it off. I'm like, I actually forgot. And I'm like, it's always on my mind.
Same. We'll get it. We're going to get it done.
But we'll never get done. I appreciate you. We'll have so much fun tonight. I'm beyond sad I'm going to miss, but I know you'll represent. Just lean into joy all the way around. And family for me, and have a tequila shot, please, for me.
Definitely having a tequila shot for you. So, and probably a forced Hennessy shot, because Uncle Kevin is going to be there. Can't wait.
Tell him to have Hennessy's for me too, because you know I throw back with him as well.
No, he will. I'll tell them hi. They love you.
Yes. Oh, it like literally the weight on my heart, knowing the whole crew is going to be together, like having fun and dance party without me. Like it's probably the last time I'm choosing fitness over fun for the rest of the year, but we'll see. But
the fact that you're going to be completing a marathon, like that is no small feat. So shout out to you and to your dedication to it. I mean, talk about turmeric and tequila and deciding to stay inside on New Year's Eve. That's dedication. I know. There were shifts in the universe happening. I blindly signed up for this. So yeah, we did it. We said we're going to do it. So we're going to do it and see where this path literally and metaphorically leads. Right. To the finish line. I know. Love them all for me. I appreciate you. And we're going to chat sooner than later. I swear by it. Yes. Can't wait. Hope everybody has a wonderful 2024. Amen. Cheers all.
Thank you for joining Turmeric and Tequila with your host, Kristen Olson. Tune in next time, and don't forget to subscribe on Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.